Do you still love your daughter?
I love my other daughter. I love my son. Of course I love them.
Hi, Daddy. I got an English award.
Of course I do. I love my children.
Well, I gotta zoom back on you.
Or push that button into Mac.
The way that she talked to my father, he knew it was over. He didn't know his daughter anymore because she talked down to him like he was nothing.
I'll be very disappointed that I don't get to hold my granddaughter.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts.
Where is Daddy?
So before she met Harry, you had no doubt she was your sister.
Called her my sister. My little sister, though, I said.
There are axe murderers in prison. Their family comes to see them. I'm not an axe murderer. I made one dumb mistake.
She wants to be Diana so bad. It's kind of freaky and kind of scary.
Do you think your sister has ruined Prince Harry?
Well, let me answer that real quick for you. The answer is yes.
She's taking advantage of a very weakened man and getting him to say things that you just shouldn't be saying.
He's confused. He doesn't know what to say. He thinks he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't say exactly what Meghan says.
I don't think there's any problems that can't be worked out. I've said I'm sorry about the initial problem.
And make some pathetic attempt, of course with the Netflix crew, with the hidden microphones and the cameras, she's going to try and reconcile with Dad.
In my opinion, she would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
For years, the public has heard only one side of the story. Now, Meghan Markle's estranged half-brother, Thomas Markle Jr., is speaking out with claims he says reveal a very different reality. His account is far more explosive than many expected, as he reflects on what he describes as a heartbreaking family breakdown. He recalls old home videos showing a close and affectionate relationship between Meghan and their father, a past he believes stands in stark contrast to the woman the world sees today. According to him, that transformation represents a painful betrayal of her own family.
Okay. Alright, am I there? I wonder. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Where is the little button? Okay, I gotta press the button now.
Before revisiting those forgotten family memories and the events that allegedly drove the family apart, Thomas Jr. begins with his strongest criticism. His belief that Meghan's influence has fundamentally changed Prince Harry.
Do you think your sister has ruined Prince Harry?
Well, let me answer that real quick for you. The answer is yes.
He doesn't merely suggest that Harry's life has taken a different direction. He argues that the change is visible in the prince himself, claiming his appearance and demeanor reflect someone who is only a shadow of the man he once was.
Confused. He doesn't know what to say. He thinks he's going to get in trouble if he doesn't say exactly what Meghan says.
According to Thomas Jr., that dramatic transformation is only the beginning. He attributes it to what he describes as Meghan's controlling and manipulative personality. In his view, the compassionate public image presented to the world conceals a much tougher side, alleging that behind the scenes she has long displayed bullying behavior. He further claims that this alleged behavior is rooted in deep narcissism, insisting she views herself as the central figure in every story and expects admiration from those around her.
A legend in her own mind. She's playing this part out like she's God's gift to the world that everybody's supposed to worship.
Thomas Jr. argues that this intense self-confidence leaves little room for outside validation because, in his opinion, she already considers herself her own greatest supporter.
She thinks so highly of herself, I think she is her #1 fan.
He also alleges that this inflated self-image is built upon what he describes as a carefully crafted narrative, particularly regarding her frequently discussed rags-to-riches journey. Listening to these accusations is difficult, yet they raise an obvious question: where does such profound resentment come from? He even claims that her ambitions extended beyond Hollywood success, alleging she developed an unsettling desire to become the next Princess Diana.
So many lies to the entire world about working hard and putting yourself through college when it's all the complete opposite.
According to him, that alleged fixation fueled growing jealousy toward the woman who ultimately occupies the position Meghan could never attain, Catherine, the Princess of Wales.
Playing this fantasy life out in her own mind. She wants to be Diana so bad. It's kind of freaky and kind of scary.
Thomas Jr. contends that this combination of alleged narcissism and envy resulted in a recurring pattern in which she portrayed herself as the victim, creating conflict before assigning responsibility to others.
Meghan is so jealous of Catherine, it's just very scary. It's actually very creepy.
He argues that this pattern did not remain confined to family relationships. In his view, it followed Meghan into the royal family, where he claims the first person affected was Prince Harry. According to Thomas Jr., nearly every public appearance was carefully orchestrated to ensure that Meghan remained the center of attention.
saying their lives are threatened, they want them dead. They create all these problems like narcissists do, and then they blame everybody else.
He suggests that theirs was not simply a royal partnership, but a carefully managed performance in which she consistently occupied the leading role.
Every single interview, every place they go, Meghan controls him.
Thomas Jr. believes this constant pursuit of control gradually diminished Prince Harry's public identity. Rather than being viewed as an independent royal figure, he argues that Harry became little more than a supporting character in Meghan's personal narrative.
Meghan tells him no. Meghan stands in front of him.
According to Thomas Jr., this opinion is shared by their father, Thomas Markle Sr., who has publicly expressed concern that Meghan appears to be taking advantage of what he describes as a vulnerable Prince Harry.
She controls every single situation like she is the star.
From the family's perspective, the situation represents a remarkable tragedy. Thomas Jr. argues that Meghan was given opportunities most people could only imagine, yet instead of embracing them, she allegedly chose a path that created division and distanced Harry from much of his former life.
Turned Prince Harry into a man of non-substance who's just there as a prop in a movie for her own well-being.
He says the contrast becomes even more striking when compared with the old family videos that appear to capture a very different chapter of her life. However, to understand what he considers the full extent of her impact on the monarchy, Thomas Jr. points to her reported relationship with Queen Elizabeth II. He alleges that from the moment Meghan entered royal life, she displayed an unexpected lack of respect toward the late Queen.
Taking advantage of a very weakened man and getting him to say things that you just shouldn't be saying on television.
His most dramatic allegation concerns what he describes as a final confrontation behind palace doors, which he believes ultimately contributed to Meghan and Harry's decision to leave the United Kingdom.
Every woman could ever dream of you had, and you had to go and make accusations and be difficult.
Thomas Jr. argues that this alleged disregard for senior members of the royal family reflected a pattern he says had already emerged within their own family years earlier. His half-sister, Samantha Markle, has similarly claimed that the family relationship changed dramatically after Meghan's rise to international fame.
He disrespected Queen Elizabeth from the get-go. She mocked the Queen. She came into the royal family and thought she owned the place.
For Samantha, that perceived change made the sense of betrayal even more painful. She has argued that without the encouragement, financial support, and industry connections provided by their father, Meghan's path into the entertainment world might have unfolded very differently.
Before she met Harry, you had no doubt she was your sister.
Called her my sister. My little sister, though, I said. Opinion she would still be a waitress if it wasn't for Dad.
Thomas Jr. concludes that the family's greatest disappointment stems from what they see as being used and ultimately left behind. He claims that public statements made by Meghan and Prince Harry have, in their view, effectively erased much of their family's role from the story presented to the world.
Meghan even told the Queen to drop dead on her way out. The Queen told Meghan, "Get out of my house." I think that's why they left.
Thomas Jr. dismisses the situation as completely unbelievable. He claims that every attempt he has made to reach out has been met with total silence, leaving him feeling as though he has been erased from her life entirely.
Saying that, she doesn't have a family and she doesn't have a father, and then Harry saying that she has no father now. That's just ridiculous.
According to him, this is far more than an ordinary family disagreement. He believes it has been a deliberate effort to remove him and the rest of the Markle family from Meghan's personal history and public narrative.
Actually reached out. All I got back was distant family and she doesn't know us, which is just, it's just very bizarre.
He says the most painful example came during the royal wedding. A day traditionally meant to unite families instead became, in his view, a public rejection, with his side of the family excluded despite, he insists, never asking for anything in return.
Just basically brushed the entire family under the carpet like we don't exist and then lied about not having a family. We've always been here.
The emotional fallout, he says, has been so severe that he has vowed never to speak to Meghan again, convinced that public opinion has finally begun to shift against her.
Who doesn't invite their family to a wedding? It's not like anybody in my family asked her for one.
Thomas Jr. also claims that the true breaking point for their father came during one deeply hurtful conversation, which he believes convinced Thomas Markle Sr. that the daughter he once knew had changed forever.
Think you will ever talk to Meghan again?
I don't think I'll probably ever talk to Meghan again. I think Meghan is on her last leg.
But, in his opinion, distancing herself from her own relatives was only the beginning. He now warns that Prince Harry could eventually face the same fate if circumstances were to change.
The way that she talked to my father, he knew it was over. He didn't know his daughter anymore because she talked down to him like he was nothing.
He argues that Harry's value, from Meghan's perspective, is closely tied to his royal identity. If that connection were ever to disappear, Thomas Jr. believes the relationship itself would be placed at risk.
Cut you out of her life, she cut your dad out of her life, she cut your sister out of her life. Do you think she'll cut him out of her life?
I think it's going to happen.
It is a grim prediction, especially when contrasted with the childhood home videos that reportedly show a happy and affectionate family. Thomas Jr. believes that version of Meghan no longer exists and claims that any future reconciliation with their father would be little more than a carefully managed public relations effort.
Such garbage.
Yeah.
But I think once the titles get stripped, I think Harry's done.
Insists such a gesture would not be driven by love or regret, but by a desire to improve public perception, adding that he believes audiences would immediately recognize it as insincere.
Where's Daddy? Well, I gotta zoom back on you.
Or push that button into Mac.
Some pathetic attempt, of course, with the Netflix crew, with the hidden microphones and the cameras. She's going to try and reconcile with Dad.
Thomas Jr.'s claims become even more controversial as he questions aspects of Meghan and Harry's family life, making allegations that have generated significant public debate.
For her own personal gain and her own personal PR. Nobody's going to believe it because nobody does. Everything that comes out of this woman's mouth is just garbage.
Regardless of those claims, he argues that the children have become unwilling participants in an ongoing conflict involving both the Markle family and the royal family.
I don't think anybody knows if those children are legitimate or surrogates or what. Nobody really knows.
This portrayal of isolation is echoed, according to Thomas Jr., by their father, who is described feeling completely cut off from both Meghan and Prince Harry.
They're using the kids as pawns. My father has already given up, and it says, I'm never going to meet those kids. King Charles is never going to meet those children, ever.
Thomas Markle Sr. paints a heartbreaking picture of what he believes should have been a lively family home filled with shared memories, yet instead feels distant and disconnected.
They're alone in a huge house that they could probably accommodate 20 people in, and it's just the four of them. I don't think they're going to have relatives over for a barbecue tomorrow, or next week, or next month.
While Thomas Jr. portrays Meghan as strategic and calculating, their father's interviews reveal something much simpler, a parent coping with profound heartbreak. He openly admits making what he calls one foolish mistake, but believes he has been punished far beyond what that single error deserved.
There are axe murderers in prison. Their family comes to see them. I'm not an axe murderer. I made one dumb mistake.
He says the emotional burden feels like serving a lifetime sentence without any hope of forgiveness. His greatest sorrow, he explains, is the possibility that he may never have the chance to meet or embrace his grandchildren.
Very disappointed that I don't get to hold my granddaughter.
Thomas Markle Sr. also points to what he considers a painful contradiction. He notes that Meghan and Harry have built a public image centered on compassion, yet he feels that same compassion has never been extended to him. Despite years of silence and repeated public criticism, he insists his love for his daughter has never diminished. Whatever has happened between them, he says, she will always remain his daughter.
Does it hurt?
Of course it hurts. Talk about compassion. There's no compassion for me. There's no compassion for my family. And there's no compassion for the royal.
When asked whether he believes Meghan still loves him, however, he admits he simply doesn't know. He recalls that the last time he heard her voice was during a brief phone call from his hospital bed only days before the royal wedding.
You love your daughter?
Of course I do. I love my children. I love my other daughter. I love my son.
Following that hospitalization, he says he endured additional health crises, including a heart attack and a major stroke. Throughout those difficult moments, he claims he received no calls, messages, or expressions of concern from Meghan.
Of course I love her.
She still loves you?
I have no idea. I haven't spoken to her since I was laying in a hospital bed 2 days before they got married.
He continues to express confusion over the prolonged silence. In multiple interviews, he has said that if he knew exactly what it would take to repair the relationship, he would do it without hesitation.
After the heart attack and the stroke, and there were still no communications or no care whatsoever, no text, no call from her whatsoever.
That willingness to move forward even extends to the man who escorted Meghan down the aisle. Thomas Markle Sr. has publicly thanked King Charles for fulfilling the role he had always hoped to perform himself.
You don't think it's possible that you're to blame?
If I am, tell me why and how. I'll fix it. I'll try to fix it.
Although he wishes he could have shared that unforgettable father-daughter moment, he says he holds no resentment toward the king for stepping in when he could not.
And it's unfortunate what's happened to him as well. He seems like a likable guy. He appreciated the fact that he walked my daughter down the aisle, although I would love to have done.
Throughout his interviews, his message has remained remarkably consistent. He says he simply wants the opportunity to speak with Meghan face-to-face and show that he is not the person he believes he has been portrayed to be.
I love you, and I wish we could sit down and talk about it.
Even though he lives only a short drive from Meghan's California home, he says he would never attempt an unexpected visit, choosing instead to respect her privacy despite feeling completely excluded from her life.
I'm not an ogre. I'd love to talk to her.
When confronted with suggestions that his own actions may have contributed to Meghan's publicly discussed mental health struggles, Thomas Markle Sr. acknowledges the possibility but insists he was always available if she ever wanted to reach out.
Have you tempted to just turn up on their doorstep and knock on the door?
I'd never do that. That makes me a stalker to some percentage, but she could have picked up the phone and called me at any time. She has my phone number, so no.
Ultimately, every public appeal returns to the same message: forgiveness and reconciliation. He believes that no family conflict is beyond repair if both sides are willing to communicate honestly. Yet he also speaks candidly about time running out. Given his age and ongoing health concerns, he fears he may never have the opportunity to meet his grandchildren in person.
I don't think there's any problems that can't be worked out. I've said I'm sorry about the initial problem. There's a good chance I might never see my grandchildren. I'm not looking for pity. I'm just saying that's a reality.
He says he no longer seeks sympathy or media attention. His greatest wish is simply to spend whatever time he has left sharing the quiet life he has built with the family he hopes one day to regain. That is where the family story stands today, a deeply emotional divide that, despite years of headlines, appears no closer to resolution.
Okay. Alright, am I there? I wonder. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye. Where is the little button? Okay, I gotta press the button now.
We're about 4 minutes from my dad's house. From my dad's house, you can see the Hollywood sign.
Mom and I, mother-daughter lunch, and there's little Meg. My dad and I.
Hi, Daddy. I got an English award.
Daddy's fishing.
We're gonna catch fish for dinner, right?
Fish for dinner. Where is Daddy? Well, I gotta zoom back on you.
Or push that button into Mac.
Those old home videos make today's reality feel even more heartbreaking. Watching a young Meghan proudly spot her father in the audience and excitedly tell him, "Daddy, I got an English award," captures a genuine father-daughter bond that seems worlds away from the relationship described today. That contrast is what makes this story so complex. Many people agree that Thomas Markle's actions before the royal wedding caused serious damage, yet others question whether the years of complete separation that followed have gone too far. With emotional interviews from family members, ongoing public debate, and years of unanswered questions, opinions remain deeply divided. What do you think? Was distancing herself from her family the right decision for Meghan's peace of mind, or has the situation reached a point where reconciliation should still be possible? Share your thoughts in the comments below.